Huh,
I see how you.
that's the tough stuff.
Leave me hanging all the way by myself.
Hey, he's going to be reading a good book. Fortunately, I think he's got enough.
I got all night.
All right.
Yes, we good, sir. All right, we'll open it up with an opening statement from Coach Napier. Any questions, please wait for the microphone for the questions. Coach Napier.
All right. I'm going to tell you something. I have a ton of respect for Jeff Lebby. He and I kind of grew up the same way, and he's a football coach. He's a good person, and he's got a good team. They fought, they battled. You know, it's their third SEC game in a row where they're in the fight with Tennessee, A&M, and then the Gators tonight. So their team has improved, you know, from year one to year two. So hats off to Mississippi State. I think that it was awesome in there today. I think the fans were incredible. I do think that they helped our players get it done. And we were really excited about the opportunity to represent this place. I think that was the emphasis all week. And the effort was there. You know, there's quite a bit of adversity in the game, just in general. You know, I was joking with Darren and Vinny in there a while ago. They say coaching in the SEC is like dog years, okay? Well, I'm going to tell you something. Darren and Vinny, they got their 7 years worth tonight, okay? We got multiple injuries in the secondary, players not available, basically played with the backups, and some threes. Bryce Thornton was out there, directed the troops, and did a really good job. So some standouts. Alphonse Allen makes 15 tackles, you know, walk on. That's earned a scholarship at different times in his career. Huge fourth down play. I mean, incredible, you know. And the guy's a football player. Not the biggest guy, not the fastest guy, but instinctive. And he stepped up for the team in a major way. So is that guy even here 10 years from now? You know, probably not, right? And he was clutch. Trace Mack was ice in his veins. Just continues. I think he's perfect since the opener, just showing who he is. And that rubs off on the team. You can see it when he does it. Jaden Ball has a career high, 150 plus. And in general, I think that the defense kind of settled down there. You know, we won the turnover margin 4-2. If you count the missed field goal and the turnover and downs. DJ did throw a couple interceptions, but he made a lot of plays. His quarterback rating was 116. He's close to having a big day. And I do think that, you know, just really proud of the group, you know, with the way they've handled. Last week was tough, and they showed up to work. You know, and I think for young people to be able to eliminate distractions and show up and do very hard work, it's not easy what we asked these guys to do, and they were well prepared, and they showed up and played. And we had a bunch of guys banged up. So did have some injuries that you'll ask about. Did have a few penalties, touchdown call back, a couple others that'll be debatable. But I'm proud of the team, and I'm thankful for the fans showing up and encouraging the team and being in the middle of the fight with the group. And in this league, man, you win a game, it doesn't matter who you put out there. I think we're seeing that you take them. And it's a good win for the Gators. What questions we got?
You'd be about 70, by the way, after 4 years in the SEC, the dog years. Take us through your emotions there from the third down call with DJ sprinting out right to their call at the end when it looks like they're going to get a field goal. Is that just complete roller coaster?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a situational football. Look, we gave up some big passes over the top today. You know, obviously the secondary not having the vets out there contributed to that, right? And a lot of those calls, you know, everybody sees the corner chasing the guy, but in reality, there's some of those where the safety is the problem, right? We're doubling, basically played a light box the majority of the game and tried to take care of the secondary. And I thought the front really stood up. And look, they got their rushing yards at times. But I think knowing who we're playing with in the back end, I think we did what we needed to do. So I think that, you know, we had two good runs. We got it to 3rd and 1. We called a movement pass. We tagged that with surrender. And DJ did what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to take the sack and make them use the final timeout, and they did a nice job matching the pattern, and it's that simple. So, and then obviously, what a call. Ron made a terrific call there, knowing the ball is coming out quick. They've been throwing inside breaking routes, and then Micah Burrow drops right in the middle of it. So
Fire zone.
a lot of, really good call in that situation, knowing where the kick line was at. So, I think good situational football, good call on defense, and obviously we had our chances there to get a first down, and they did a nice job stopping us.
With the way Jaden was playing, was there any consideration there on the 3rd and 1 to just have him run the ball? He converts that with how he was playing. And
there was debate about it, and I think that we tried to win the game there, and we went with the movement pass. So same one, very similar like the 3rd one earlier in the game. We called a movement pass, hit Aiden Mizell. We had been talking about maybe you should have ran it on that one too, but we're not because it worked, right? So sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work.
then among the injuries, Jordan Castell, could you just take us through what occurred with him, I guess, pregame? Was it something that kind of re-injured
Yeah,
him?
man, tough competitor, Jordan Castell. Really worked his butt off all week to try to get prepared to play. This is the type of scenario where you get an injection and you tough it out and try to play, but he wasn't able to do that. He felt like he would be able to do it. Got minimal work throughout the week, and then just the closer we got to the game, it wasn't getting better. He has a grade 2 AC sprain, which is significant, right? So for him to even consider playing, I think is a credit to him. But he wasn't able to get that done. Now, Mike Caraway played with a hip pointer today and really sucked it up for the team and played and showed some toughness and played well. So we had some guys. Sharif goes down. Lagonza Hayward's in the game, right? Devin Moore goes down. Now we got all rookies out there at corner, right? So Grimsley, Hanks, basically 3 freshmen, Javari. So we got our money's worth out of that crew today.
What's that say about the young defender's ability to kind of develop as the season's gone on? Because a lot of those guys ain't even played.
Yeah. Look, we've been talking about this situation, this scenario for every week, holding our breath. And we've been giving them reps. We've been coaching them. We've been developing them so that they can be ready when they get this opportunity. So hats off to that crew for stepping up and making some plays. Obviously gave up a few, but in general they made a lot too. So they're smiling in there. Hard work pays off. Those guys got here in January, and they did a great job. We're banking reps for young players. It's part of what we do, and then you never know when your opportunity is going to surface, and hats off to that group for showing up and playing today.
A lot of emotion and, excitement there at the end, and then as you're exiting the field, there's a lot of fan unrest. I know there's a lot of uncertainty with you, what your future holds. Where are you kind of with that game-ending reception, and what you think lies ahead for you right now after this game?
Yeah. Look, I would say that, I think I'm built for it. I'm made for it. I chose the coaching profession. I was called to coach, and the good comes with the bad. The bad comes with the good. So, and I do think that the game's about the players, and I'm proud of the players and the way they played. Never going to make everybody happy. You get these leadership positions, and you're in charge. These are the things that come with it, right? So I love the game of football. I love the game.
Yeah, Billy, I know you've been through a lot of ups and downs with this group, over the last 3 or 4 years. Some guys you've been with for 4 years. I mean, just what was that maybe even message like in the locker room afterwards in terms of, maybe just talking to the guys off a win like that? Because you guys have been, obviously with some highs and some lows in some of these close games.
Yeah, uncommon, I think this is equally as hard, I think, as it is. Just I'm proud of the players, man. I think it's very uncommon for them to do what they've done. And I think that's a tribute to the relationships they have with each other, the loyalty that they have. And I think in this league, man, you got to show up and play every week. And I think they did that today. I'm proud of the players. I think that tough one last week, and then to hit the reset button, to show up and put full pads on Wednesday and do the type of work that we have to do to be prepared to play. Bunch of guys playing banged up out there, and they're doing that because they care about this place. And they wanted to represent a certain way today, knowing it was homecoming, knowing that alumni, former players. I told them, I said, one day it's going to be you sitting up there watching the team play, and you're going to want to be proud of the team. So if we're doing this the right way, that's the way this goes. They start here, they finish here, and they come back here. And the challenge was accepted, and we got to win tonight.
Coach, as DJ continues to develop, you look at the two picks. One was on the seam route, looked like maybe he got fooled there, and then the one at the end of the half, kind of understand the situation. You really don't want to turn it over there. What is the discussion with him on the sideline in those two particular situations? Maybe a little bit similar but different as well.
Yeah, I just talked to him about it. I think one of the cool things about having the video on the field is he's able to see immediately. He gets the feedback right away. So there's no uncertainty in his head, and he can move forward. He knows the mistake. He knows the answers. We have answers for him. And then he can move on to the next possession, right? So he was a little bit late on both throws. And if you take those two out, what a day. What a day at the park, right? So he made a bunch of plays. And look, if you play in that position, it comes with the territory. And your toughness and your resiliency and what type of competitor you are is important. So for him to have the intangibles to continue to play and make plays after those things happen, I think is impressive to me for a young player. But, very, very correctable, and there's answers on the tape, and I think that allows them to move forward and play the next possession.
Billy, when you look back on your 4 years here, and every single season you've had so many games impacted by injuries. Have you ever looked in the mirror and sometimes said, what did I do to deserve this? Am I snake bit or something?
Injuries are part of the game. Every team in the country is dealing with them. So I think when we're living in our house, we're a lot more aware of the in-house issues, but everybody's got problems. The key is that you've got to be solution-oriented, and you got to stay focused on things that you can control. Injuries are part of the game, and they're one of the hardest things about the game. The hardest part is the player going through the injury. There's a ton of things that go with injuries that are tough. These guys, the missed time, the missed work, the anxiety that comes with maybe feeling like they're getting behind, and then they want to be out there for the teammates. So it's a tough part of the game.
Billy, how's VB3 doing?
He's doing good. He's got a AC sprain. We'll have a little bit more clarity about. But he was out. He wasn't able to return. Wasn't one of those categories where maybe you could do some things to help it and he could get back in the game. So obviously he'll be in here tomorrow, and we'll be able to see where he's at next week.
And then you mentioned your love for the game of football and your love for these players. How much do you desire to finish out this season with them and being able to finish what you started?
Man, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to enjoy this one tonight. That's what I'm going to do, okay? And then I'll wake up tomorrow and we'll worry about what's next. We're banged up. We need an open date. And I know our group will be excited about the next one, right? So, I'm going to go take a deep breath, get something good to eat, all right, prop my feet up on the house, hug on them kids and Miss Allie, and then tomorrow we'll wake up and we'll think about the next one.
What are you going to eat?
We'll see what Miss Allie's got at the house tonight.
The emotion, Billy, that you just showed there with the love of the game, do you sense that this is it for you? That tonight was your last game with the Gators?
No, I think about our players, man. I think about our players. That's what I think about. I mean, I think that we work, you know. I think these guys, that was a good testament to the entirety of the group, you know, from a work ethic, commitment. The depth was challenged. The entire process was challenged. You had a lot of players play some of their best football of their careers, and then you had some unknowns just step up out of nowhere and make incredible plays. And I think it's a testament to the entire organization. And young people, that's not normal, you know, to play with that type of effort. And in a game where there's a ton of adversity, for them to keep fighting and find a way to win, I think it's pretty special. So that's what I love about the game, man. These guys can learn a lot. That was a great memory there, and I think there's a lot of life lessons for them in terms of what happened out there today. Thank you, Coach. All right, thank you.
Remember the last time you had an interception?
Last time I had an interception was probably like in high school. I had a pick in an All-Star game, but that doesn't compare to this one. I guarantee you that.
Take us through the play.
I mean, coach called a play where the 2D tackle dropped back in coverage, and I knew where my zone was. It dropped back in my zone, and I see the quarterback looking at me because I read the quarterback's eyes. And I seen that ball come towards me, just put my hands up and caught it.
Were you surprised they were throwing right there? Were you surprised they were throwing the ball on that down there in field goal range?
I mean, I didn't know what they was doing at that point, but I knew when I dropped back and seen that ball come towards me, I knew what I had to do.
Coach was saying that this week, you know, had try to close everything out, try to shut everything out in your mind. So, I mean, did you just go in there, you know, free of whatever is going on, or was it still in the back of your minds as you were playing all the stuff that's going on this week?
I mean, we know all the outside noise. We don't really worry about that. We worry about what we can control. I mean, when we go out on that field, it's all about us. It's all about the 11 that's on the field.
But can you take us through the emotions? I'm sure you guys did your best to block out the noise, but I'm sure it gets through at the same time. For you to come up and make a play like that in that moment where it seems like things are falling apart there at the end, just your emotions to have been able to pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't over till the clock hits 000. So we just know when we on that field, it's all about execution. We gotta get takeaways. You gotta poke the ball out. We can intercept the ball. Whatever we gotta do.
I guess it was kind of an interesting game for the defense in that you give up, you know, TD on the opening drive and then 2 quarters scoreless, and then they kind of gash you a little bit in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. But just overall, how do you guys think you persevere, particularly with the injuries in the secondary?
I mean, the defense, we got a strong defense. I mean, every time we go out on that field, we know what we got to do. I mean, no matter if we losing, we winning, if it's 30 seconds on the clock or it's 15 minutes on the clock, we know what we got to do when we on that field.
Just how much are you, speaking of blocking out the noise, just still have confidence in Billy Napier leading this program?
What's the question?
How much confidence do you still have in Billy Napier leading this program? All the outside noise that everyone's talking about, just the guys inside the locker room, how much confidence do you still have in him?
I mean, Coach Napier is a great coach, honestly. And, I mean, it's out of my control, but you just got to move on.
And when did you learn how to slide like that after the interception?
Slide?
Yeah, you slid.
I'll be honest with you. I did not want to slide. I'll be real with you. I did not want to slide. I seen the end zone. I wanted to go to the end zone, but shots fired. You got to get down.
We'll go to Edgar.
So, you have good hands?
Yeah, for sure.
But kind of what's that based on? You play another position maybe, or a good basketball player? What do you got?
I play a little basketball, and I also played a little middle linebacker when I was in little rec ball, so I know how to catch the ball when it comes to me.
Yeah, no, apparently. Also, the young guys, a lot of young defenders that really hadn't played at all, kind of had key roles tonight. How do you think those guys have kind of behind the scenes come along, and then when called upon, kind of stepped up?
Yeah, I mean the young guys they very intentional about learning from the olders and the vets. I mean they can look at little things that the vets do. They can critique their craft. I mean we feel confident with them on the field, whether whoever it is. Honestly.
What about the safety back there? 15 tackles. What do you think about that?
15 tackles is crazy. That's my guy right there. Need that.
So you exit through the tunnel at the end of the game. You're wildly applauded, and Coach Napier comes right behind you and he's booed. There were Fire Billy chants in the crowd tonight. What's your response to that?
I mean, when we in the game, I don't hear nothing but whatever coach saying, and the crowd it's just blaring noise. You feel me? So I'm just worried about what I got to do. How y'all doing? Yeah.
All right, guys. Joined by Jaden Ball. We'll start with Edgar right front.
I tell you, early on they were throwing the ball a lot, but they finally came around to you. What was just tell us about the night you just had, first 150-yard game at the college level.
I think it was a good game. We got a lot of stuff we need to work on. Going into the bye week, I feel like that we're going to do a good job as into, preparing the right way, learning the game a lot more, and, prepare for Georgia.
Mm-hmm. A lot of uncertainty around Billy and his future, even despite a win. What's just kind of the player sentiment?
Keeping our head on straight. What's going on with Coach Nape and, what's up in the air about what everybody's talking about, we stay together. Regardless of the fact, we have to stay together. And that's what keeps the team. So.
How does he handle it all? I mean, how does he go about handling it? He says he's built for this.
Keeping us together. Being around football is like a family. So we always preach that everybody's in our circle, and we're going through practice. Everybody in the building, they're with us. And I feel personally like, Coach Nape's a great coach, and he does a great job of keeping us together.
We'll go to Grant to your right. The ability just for this team to block out the outside noise and stay together. How critical do you think that is to be able to do that, to have a performance like this tonight?
Coach Nape puts a big impact on us as into, keeping the outside noise. Okay, we deal with it and we hear it, but, we stand together, so.
I want to talk about you because you had the big game tonight. Talk a little about actually your offensive line because, how big were those holes you were going through? I know you had to create some of them, but what were the holes like? Take us through your runs.
Offensive line played great in my opinion. There's going to be little things that we might have to work on. And, I got to do a better job, trusting it. And because I know that's a couple, holes that I missed. Like on the 18, I could have got outside. They played great. I applaud them every day. So,
Coach Juluk returned tonight from his suspension. Just what is your relationship like with him, and how energizing is it to have him back on the sidelines?
Having him on the sideline is just amazing because he gives everybody energy, not just the running backs. He coaches us, but he coaches the whole team also. He brings the energy. He's the coach that like when he's around, the energy's going to be up. So having him on the sideline was a great adjustment for us.
You had an early touchdown run tonight, and then second touchdown of the season called back on a penalty, a 60-yarder. That was obviously a big one. But just how do you fight through that and kind of stay focused when something like that happens adversity-wise for the team?
As I was always growing up, my pops and my moms told me that keeping your composure is everything, and dealing with something like that is into getting a holding call, which is I agree that it wasn't, but keeping my composure and keeping the team composure, keeping their heads, together and pushing, past it and finishing the right way.
What does it say about this team? There's so many young guys. I mean, you had all the injuries, so you're playing with so many freshmen and so many of you are sophomores too. What do you think about the future of this team with so many young guys?
Well, I think the future is going to be bright. I'm very proud of the young guys that played today. I'm definitely proud of Jameer Grimsley. I'm proud of Ben Hanks. I'm proud of Kaden Daniels because when me and KD came in, we talked about us two being the starting backs the whole time, and having that, seeing him today score a touchdown, it just warmed my heart. And having the rest of the guys step up and play and grow up, honestly, I think it was good for them to just grow up and get their feet wet.
Speaking of that KD touchdown, we saw you embrace him after. Just what is your guys' relationship like, and sort of how have you taken up that role of being a leader in the running back room?
That's my brother. We came in together. We have long days, long nights. We went through a lot of hard times as coming in as a freshman, learning the plays. And we definitely came in January, so that was kind of hard too, going into a spring, not knowing a lot of things, and just learning from the guys that was above us.
Watching that last drive from the sidelines, not knowing that Mekhi was going to come up with that big play, was there ever a moment where the result of the USF game popped in your mind?
Yeah, but keeping my composure on our team and focusing on us and giving all my trust into the defense, a play was bound to happen. And Mekhi made that play. We always say, "Why not you?" So he made the play.
When Mekhi gets that interception, just what's the first thing that's going through your mind when that happens?
Put my head down, pray to God. One day, I think it was at practice, and Mekhi told me, he said, "Hey, bro, how you make that juke?" And I was like, "You just, feel it." And I thought he was going to juke him. He came on the sideline and told me when he caught it, he was going to juke him. But when he made that play, I was very proud of him. Mekhi's a great player, and he has a lot to learn, but y'all going to see in the future that he's going to be one of the top picks to me.
The defense had been in this spot against Texas, kind of needing to save the win, and they did. How much confidence did that give you heading into that last drive?
A lot. Defense been playing very, very good this whole year, honestly. And I feel like when it comes to offense, we have to take our time, understand the plays, understand what's going on, and get a momentum. And I feel like the defense stuck to it, and they got the momentum, and we just had to come around.